Welcome back. In the first video we covered downloading the application from the website and installing it onto the desktop of the computer by copying the folder off of the disk image. And now we're going to open the folder and start the application. We open the folder, we see all of the modules of the system plus the tracking widgets icon itself. We double click on that to start the application. I'm going to close the window on the desktop so that we just have the windows of the application open. If you are the only user of the application, in other words you're not using it in conjunction with FileMaker over a network, it will open up all of the modules when you start the program. Many of the windows will be in a hidden mode. The first time you run the application, you will be asked to agree to the license prior to operating the program. Say OK, and that will take you to the license page. You can select the window and just read through if you like. There's not a ton of information there. You can also copy out the information by just selecting it, copying it, and paste it into a word processor if you like, to be able to save outside of the program itself. For now, we're going to say that you have accepted the use of the program. So we click accept. There's a thank you screen that comes up, and now it takes you into the window where we can say done. That gets rid of that window. Now we're in the mode where the application will open up in future. So from now on, it will open up to this configuration of windows. The first one is the date selection. So if you are at any point in time opening the application and wanting to use it using date prior to what you are now on, you can reset that by just going into this field here and resetting the date. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just say OK to that, and now it takes us to the call log. The call log can basically show you what calls you've made, what you're expecting to hear back from clients, any emails. So typically this is like a short to-do list. We can hide that. On any of the windows you click hide to be able to basically hide the window instead of closing the document itself. So in this sample file we've actually included a couple of work orders, but for now this session is the initial setup. So we're going to click on where it says Tracking Widgets in the upper left hand corner of this window, and that will open the main module. In here is where we will actually enter the information for your company. So we'll just use your company as a name for now. The serial number, you won't put one in yet until you have actually paid for it and received a serial number for us. The serial number is tied to the company name. Once you get the company name in, you will want a serial number that actually matches that. If you ever change your company name, you will have to contact us to get a new serial number. So we're going to put in a bogus address for now. 1234 some street in some city. We'll use it for BC right now in Canada. Postal code 8K 2W3. We'll put a phone number of 250-537-5931. You can put in your own phone number there. I'm just using the phone number for Terrace Innovations, which is the developer of Tracking Widgets. In this field, where it says logo character, years ago we developed a typeface called logo font, and it basically can store in graphic form your logo. That works if your graphic is in a program right now like Illustrator. We can transfer that into a typeface character. For now, what you can do is you can just type the name of your company in there, or you can paste your logo into either the small logo or large logo fields here. If you have a fax, you can put that fax number in here as well. I'm just going to use this number even though we don't operate a fax. You can choose to either show the address on envelopes or not show it. If you do want it to print on checks and such, then you can basically click on where it says address to print, and it will take the information from above and it will format it for use on the tops of the invoice, also on a check if you like. Down below we have comments, which basically this is a test setup of TrackingWidgets, and it just describes a little bit of information there, not too much in that field. This is screen 1 of the main module. We'll now jump to screen 2. Screen 2 is where you would put your banking information, your tax information. So we'll just put in a bogus number for the tax number here. And we'll put in a bogus PST number. Invoice form for now, probably invoice form 1 is the best one for you to use, and a generic deposit form. We can fill in the information of a bank, contact at the bank. We can put in the identifiers as far as if there is more than one account. The more important information is down below where we get account aging. In the demo we've got 15, 30, and 45 days with interest being charged at 2% per period. The default tax, so TrackingWidgets allows you to have 2 concurrent taxes. They do not compound. So in Canada and British Columbia at this point in time we have just gone back to GST as a federal value-added tax, and we have a default tax 2 of provincial sales tax in the amounts of 5% and 7%. When you're entering, that would be 0.05 for your 5% and 0.07 for your 7%. We can put in default terms that will print on the invoice form. We can put an invoice default message, and we can also put in an invoice default interest message. These you can leave for the time being until you've had a chance to go through more of the application. And right now we can do an estimate period. We've put in 60 days on the demo. Default estimator, right now we've put in a couple of users, so we have chosen Dave McGee here. If you change that information and put your own names in, then you can come back here and put the default estimator as being who you want that to be. At any point in time you can change it on a specific estimate that you're putting out. This just saves you one step if you've got someone who's doing it default. In the pricing tables you can base it on individual pricing. It's very extensive as far as how we allow you to design your pricing tables on products and services. But if you go with a very basic retail and trade pricing, you can start off with something like 0% would be your trade price or your retail price, and then your trade price difference would be 0.15%, which would be deducting from the retail price. Or you can reverse those numbers and have the trade price and then add on for a retail price. So that, we're going to leave it at that for that screen. We're going to go to screen number 3, which allows you to set a default email for the company and also put in your website information for the company. This is where you can add the personnel in. Easy to add a new person, so we'll just add new and person as their names, what they are. This is a sample person, and you can put in their phone number here as well. Once you get that information in, you can actually go to the personnel records and you can fill in more information. We allow you to put a start time, how much regular lunch time and a quit time for that person, what department they're in. So if this person was in production, we can select that. This line entries means that they can be used on individual line entries. So as you're entering things in the system, if they are putting time or applying materials to a job, you should have them selected for line entries. Regular rate of pay. So this is not what they charge out at, but this is what they would actually be paid. And an overtime rate. Whether or not they're able to review the work in progress, and whether or not they're actually a sales rep. In the system there are buttons that can be used to speed up the process of picking who you're looking at. So the button name for it to appear on, then you can actually select that. We've got 1 and 2 on the previous 2 people in the demo system. We can put them as number 3. And just let that enter. And now we've entered a new person in the personnel file. I'm going to hide that record for now. On a purchase order, it will have a default message. You can put that message here. Most of the time that will have something to do with the idea that's in this current one, which is, especially if someone cannot fill the order, they should notify you. Also putting the purchase order number on invoicing and packaging. The system will number your PO numbers, so you can put a start number here and it will count it up for you. So we're going to go to screen 4 now. This one I would recommend sticking with the initial method of doing invoice, group docket, and docket numbering. Basically the next order number here, until a job is invoiced, it carries an order number. It will count up, and you can set it based on the default here is year, month, and then counting up. And this basically tells it how many numbers are being represented in the last portion of the number. If you're doing 99 or fewer invoices per month, leave that at 2. If you're doing more than that, set it up to 3 or 4 as required. This shows you a sample of what that number will show like. So in this case, 13 represents the year, 3 represents the month that is set for this system at the moment, and the first, so that would be the first invoice. If we want to jump ahead to what the current month is, I can hold the control key down and click this reset year month serial, and if you'll notice when I did that, it actually jumped up to 4th month because it's April now as I'm doing this demo. The docket numbers, again, you can tell it how many numbers are in the series. We're going to stick with 4 numbers for right now, and the next number is 4. We've already entered some group dockets in the system. The next one will be 1004. Our system is 3 different levels, so you've got invoices, group dockets belong to an invoice or an order, and group dockets belong to a docket. We'll explain further as we get into entering a job what we suggest those 3 levels can be used for. Docket, the same thing. We are going to count up based on starting at 1,000. We've entered in a number of dockets already, and so it is counting up. This also allows you to set the default service for a new client. And in the demo, we've got 2 services where it's regular and rush. The services are actually defined first in the products and services module, not in this location here. So choose from the list. Don't type in your own value here. So now that does it for the main setup, and we're going to hide that. That shows us the invoice module. In the next video we're going to define some products to sell. So thank you for watching this video. I will now sign off.